What if I told you Las Vegas isn't losing tourists because of crime, bad shows, or even the desert heat, but because of fees? Not the kind of small add-on you shrug off, but relentless, sneaky charges that bleed visitors dry until they finally say, "Never again." Imagine walking into Sin City expecting a $100 room, a cheap buffet, and a free drink, only to be hit with $50 parking, $60 resort fees, and $20 cocktails. That magic disappears fast. Today, we're counting down 9 fees that are killing Las Vegas, and the shocking truth about why the Strip is empty. Number 9. Resort fees. The mandatory scam that started it all. If there's one charge that turned Vegas from paradise into a tourist trap, it's the infamous resort fee. Once upon a time, Vegas marketed itself as the land of $29 rooms and free perks. But corporate casino owners realized there was more money to be made in deception than discounts. Today, nearly every Strip hotel tacks on a nightly fee, often ranging from $35 to $50 per night, plus tax, that isn't included in the advertised price. You book a $99 room? Surprise, your bill balloons to $160 before you even step inside. What do you actually get for this so-called resort charge? Wi-Fi that barely works, access to a gym you'll never visit, and maybe a bottle of water. It's essentially legalized pickpocketing. According to the Federal Trade Commission, resort fees now rake in hundreds of millions annually for Vegas hotels. But while Wall Street cheers, visitors feel cheated. And here's the bigger consequence. Families and budget travelers, the bread and butter of Las Vegas for decades, are disappearing. A Canadian bachelor party group went viral last year after canceling their trip, saying, "We'll just go to Mexico. At least there the price is real." That sentiment is spreading fast. UNLV tourism data shows mid-tier casinos have seen double-digit declines in occupancy since 2023. And analysts tie much of it to fee fatigue. Resort fees don't just hurt tourists, they hurt the city. Empty hotel rooms mean fewer gamblers, fewer diners, and fewer tips for service workers. It's a domino effect. By the time guests realize their $99 getaway costs double, the magic is gone. And that's just the first fee on our list. Because if you thought resort fees were bad, wait until you see the everyday basics that Vegas is now charging for. Fees that make even loyal gamblers question if Sin City is worth it anymore. Number 8. Parking fees. Paying to leave your money behind. For decades, Las Vegas casinos lured you in with one simple promise: free parking. The logic was brilliant. Why charge people to leave their car when the real money was inside, waiting to be spent on slots, tables, and overpriced drinks? But in 2016, that tradition collapsed. MGM Resorts led the charge, announcing that parking, yes, the privilege of leaving your car in a 10-story garage in the middle of the desert, would now cost you $15 to $25 per day, depending on the property. Caesars and others quickly followed. At first, the backlash was fierce. Locals swore they'd never set foot on the Strip again, and many tourists felt nickel and dimed before they even got through the doors. Yet the fees stuck and grew. Today, parking charges can climb to $30 to $50 on busy weekends or event nights, rivaling rates in downtown Los Angeles or Manhattan. And here's the kicker. In many casinos, even if you drop hundreds at the blackjack table, your parking isn't validated. Why does this matter? Because Vegas isn't New York. People drive here. Road trippers from California, locals from Henderson and Summerlin, even visitors from Arizona and Utah. Parking fees hit those groups hardest. Data from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority shows that regional drive-in traffic is down sharply since 2019, with surveys pointing to added costs as a top complaint. In other words, Vegas is discouraging the very visitors who used to fill rooms midweek and gamble late into the night. Think about it. When a couple from Los Angeles drives 4 hours to Vegas, they expect to blow money on slots and shows, not on parking their car. When that $40 garage fee pops up, it plants a seed of resentment, And resentment is toxic in a city built on the illusion of generosity. Even the casinos admit this isn't about convenience, it's about revenue. MGM alone pulls in over $100 million annually from parking charges. But what they gain in the short term, they lose in loyalty. Locals now flock to off-strip casinos that still offer free parking, while some tourists are choosing destinations like Laughlin or Reno, where parking isn't weaponized as a cash grab. And if you thought paying to park was insulting, wait until you hear about the hidden fees that sneak into your bill, even if you never drive a car or step outside your hotel. Number 7. Concession and convenience fees. The silent wallet killer. Imagine ordering a burger and fries in Las Vegas, and when the bill comes, there's a mysterious line called concession recovery fee, or service charge, even at a fast food counter where you carried the tray yourself. This isn't a fantasy, it's the new Vegas reality. Restaurants, bars, and even coffee shops on the Strip are quietly adding 4% to 8% convenience fees to checks, without clearly explaining why. Here's where it gets outrageous. These aren't tips for staff, nor taxes for the city. They're pure revenue for the business. And because they're tucked away at the bottom of your receipt, most visitors either don't notice or feel too awkward to argue. According to a 2024 Las Vegas Review-Journal survey, over 60% of tourists said they felt confused or misled by surprise add-ons during their trip. Why does this matter? Because Las Vegas was once synonymous with transparency and indulgence. You knew your $1.99 shrimp cocktail was $1.99. Now, every sandwich, soda, or cocktail feels like a bait-and-switch. A visitor might budget $20 for lunch, but ends up paying $27 after a concession fee and inflated sales tax. Do that 3 times a day, for a family of 4, across a 4-day trip, and you've spent hundreds more than planned. It's not just about food. These fees now creep into show tickets, nightclub covers, and pool parties. Buy a $75 ticket online, and by the time you check out, it's $115 with processing, facility, and service fees. Even bottled water at convenience stores can come with an electronic processing charge if you don't pay cash. The consequences are brutal for the city's reputation. Social media is filled with viral rants. Vegas is a scam now. TikTokers post receipts with outrageous add-ons, warning their followers to stay away. Word of mouth, once Vegas's strongest marketing weapon, is turning toxic. And here's the kicker. These micro-fees are psychologically worse than one big charge. Guests feel nickeled and dimed at every turn, eroding trust with each transaction. Economists call this friction cost fatigue, a fancy way of saying that constant small losses make people quit the game altogether. So if grabbing a soda leaves tourists feeling ripped off, what happens when they discover that even gambling, the core Vegas experience, now comes with hidden costs? Number 6. ATM and cash access fees. Paying just to spend. Picture this. You've had a good run at the blackjack table. You're up a few $100, spirits high, and you decide to keep the streak alive. You head over to the casino ATM, only to be slapped with an $8.99 or even $10.99 fee just to withdraw your own money. That's not counting the fee your bank charges on top. In Las Vegas today, pulling $200 from an ATM can easily cost you $15 to $20 in fees. For context, the national average ATM fee is under $5, according to Bankrate. Vegas casinos have more than doubled it. Why? Because they know gamblers are a captive audience. When you're desperate to stay in the game, you'll eat the fee. But what once felt like a cost of convenience now feels like extortion. And it doesn't end there. Want to take out a cash advance on your credit card? Be ready for fees north of $100 per transaction. Even check cashing services inside casinos have quietly increased their rates. The irony is brutal. Vegas, A city built on getting you to spend freely now charges you just to access the money you plan to lose. This has ripple effects. Tourists who hit an ATM once or twice quickly learn their lesson. They either cut their gambling short or switch to low-spend activities outside the Strip. That means fewer gaming revenues, fewer drink orders, and fewer tips for staff. Locals have adapted by warning visitors on Reddit and TikTok. Bring cash with you, or you'll get robbed by the ATM. It's not just anecdotal. Data from the Nevada Gaming Control Board shows that casino win per visitor has stagnated even as fees rise, suggesting that tourists are gambling less once they realize how much of their budget is drained before the fun starts. And here's the kicker. ATMs are strategically placed at every corner, glowing green like beacons in the desert. But instead of feeling like lifelines, they've become symbols of how far Vegas will go to squeeze its guests. If swiping your card to grab your own cash feels like a shakedown, just wait until we get to the fees that follow you long after you check out of your hotel. Surprise charges that hit your bill days later. Number 5. Hidden hotel charges, the bill that haunts you after checkout. For decades, Vegas sold the fantasy of a cheap escape. $39 rooms, neon lights, and endless entertainment. But those days are gone. Today, many visitors leave the Strip with a nasty surprise: post-checkout charges they never expected. These can include minibar restocking fees, early check-in or late checkout surcharges, even energy sustainability fees tucked quietly into the fine print. Take the minibar, for example. In some Strip hotels, simply lifting a can of soda out of its sensor-equipped fridge, even if you don't drink it, can trigger a $15 to $20 automatic charge. Forget to notice? It hits your credit card days later. Want to check in before 3 p.m.? That could be another $25 to $75 early check-in fee. Need to stay an extra hour after checkout? Same story, but in reverse. Another line item. Then there are mystery line items that confuse even seasoned travelers. A recent viral TikTok showed a tourist charged a $4 linen recovery fee, despite never requesting extra towels. Others report surprise room delivery fees when ordering food to their room, even if they picked it up themselves. Why does this matter? Because trust is the foundation of hospitality. When guests feel tricked, they don't come back. According to a 2024 J.D. Power survey, Las Vegas hotels rank near the bottom nationwide in guest satisfaction, with hidden charges being the #1 complaint. That dissatisfaction translates directly into fewer return trips and shorter stays. And it's not just about tourists. Locals who once booked staycations on the Strip now avoid it entirely, citing the endless fine print. Off-Strip hotels, Airbnb rentals, and even Lake Tahoe cabins are capturing frustrated travelers who just want a transparent bill. The result? Vegas is eating itself. The very charges meant to squeeze a few extra dollars are scaring off the long-term revenue base. As one former casino executive admitted in an interview, "We traded loyalty for line items." And if hotel bills are leaving a sour taste, just wait until you see how Vegas has transformed food and drinks, once the city's biggest bargains, into a battlefield of markups and fees. Number 4. Food and beverage markups, when cheap eats became a luxury. Once upon a time, Las Vegas built its reputation on unbeatable deals. The 99-cent shrimp cocktail, the $4.99 prime rib special, the all-you-can-eat buffet for under $10. These weren't just meals, they were marketing. Casinos happily lost money on cheap food because they knew you'd stay, play, and spend. But those days are dead, and what replaced them is shocking, even to longtime Vegas regulars. Today, you'll struggle to find a buffet under $40 per person on the Strip. A basic breakfast, 2 eggs, bacon, toast, and coffee, can run you $28 before tip. And cocktails? Don't expect to pay less than $18 to $22 each at most casino bars. Even bottled water, once handed out for free to gamblers, is now priced at $7 to $10 a pop. What changed? Corporate ownership. As Wall Street firms and private equity took over Strip properties, they flipped the business model. Instead of luring guests with cheap food and drinks, they now see every restaurant, bar, and even convenience kiosk as a profit center. The result? Margins are higher, but the experience is hollow. The backlash is everywhere. TikTokers share videos of $45 hamburgers with captions like, "Vegas is robbing us." Reddit threads warn first-timers to budget double what they expect for food, and Yelp reviews for Strip restaurants are flooded with complaints about mandatory concession recovery fees and watered-down cocktails. Economically, this is devastating for Vegas's identity. The city once marketed itself as the value capital of America's entertainment industry. Now, analysts at UNLV's hospitality school note that mid-market tourists are defecting to regional casinos in places like Oklahoma, Florida, and even smaller Nevada towns like Laughlin, where food and drinks remain affordable. And here's the darker side. When people feel ripped off on basics like food and drinks, they cut back on the big spends. Gamblers shorten their sessions. Families skip shows. Couples cancel expensive excursions. Vegas might win $20 on a burger, but it loses $200 in potential gaming revenue. As one industry veteran put it, Vegas forgot that the $5 buffet was worth more than it cost. It kept people happy, and happy people gamble. But if you thought inflated burger prices were bad, wait until you hear about the fees that follow you beyond the casino floor, into shows, nightclubs, and entertainment itself. Number 3. Ticket and entertainment fees, the fun tax that drains the magic. Vegas used to promise world-class entertainment at a bargain. Lounge acts were free, show tickets were affordable, and live music poured out of every casino. Today, the show might still be dazzling, but the bill feels like a bad joke. It starts online. You see a ticket for $89 to a Cirque du Soleil performance or a headliner like Adele. By the time you check out, the price has ballooned to $135 or more, thanks to a stack of processing fees, facility charges, and convenience fees. Want to print the ticket at home? That might cost you an extra $5. Prefer to pick it up at will call? Another service charge. And that's before you get inside. Many venues now tack on mandatory drink minimums, forcing you to buy $20 cocktails on top of your ticket. At pool parties and nightclubs, the hidden charges are even more aggressive. A $50 cover can morph into $90 after fees and taxes, plus a mandatory gratuity, even before you've ordered a drink. Why does this matter? Because entertainment is the beating heart of Las Vegas. Visitors budget for the spectacle, but when the cost nearly doubles in hidden charges, they feel tricked. According to a 2024 survey by the American Gaming Association, 57% of Vegas tourists said they skipped at least one planned show or event because of unexpected fees. That means fewer ticket sales, fewer bar tabs, and less energy flowing through the Strip. The ripple effect is brutal. Smaller productions, the magic acts, the comedy shows, the off-strip concerts, are struggling the most. Guests see inflated fees on the big shows, feel burned, and decide not to risk spending on smaller venues at all. Local performers, once the soul of Vegas nightlife, are being squeezed out by a system designed to favor corporate profits. And perhaps worst of all, these charges damage trust. When a tourist leaves saying, "The show was great, but I'll never pay those fees again," Vegas loses more than a ticket sale. It loses a repeat visitor. But entertainment isn't the only part of the Strip bleeding customers. The next fee on our list is so outrageous it follows you even while you're gambling, the very reason most people come to Vegas in the first place. Number 2. Gaming fees and reduced payouts. The rigged table trick. For decades, Las Vegas promised gamblers the best odds in America. You could sit at a blackjack table, order free drinks, and know you were at least getting a fair shake. But today, even the games are quietly riddled with hidden costs, and it's driving regular players away in droves. Let's start with blackjack. Traditionally, a natural blackjack paid 3 to 2. Bet $20 and you won $30. Simple. But on much of the Strip, casinos have quietly shifted to 6 to 5 payouts, meaning that same $20 blackjack now wins you only $24. Over time, this change increases the house edge by nearly 2%, a massive swing in the casino's favor. To the average player, it feels like a tiny detail, but for anyone who gambles for hours, it's the equivalent of an extra tax on every bet. Then there are table game fees. At some casinos, electronic blackjack or roulette machines tack on per-hand fees, literally charging you $1 or $2 just to place a bet. It's like paying admission every time you play a hand. Even poker rooms have quietly raised their rake, the house's cut of each pot, making it harder than ever for casual players to win. Slot machines, once famous for their loose payouts, have tightened as well. According to the Nevada Gaming Control Board, Strip slot payout percentages now average just 85% to 88%, among the lowest in the state. Compare that to off-strip locals casinos, where slots pay closer to 93% to 95%. Tourists are realizing they can literally get better odds in smaller towns like Laughlin or Reno. And let's not forget drink service. Once upon a time, free cocktails flowed endlessly while you gambled. Now, many casinos use voucher systems or drink monitoring lights. Translation: if you're not betting enough, that free margarita will never arrive. What used to be the ultimate Vegas perk has turned into another way to squeeze the customer. The result? Gamblers feel cheated. Forums like Vegas Message Board and countless Reddit threads are filled with longtime visitors swearing off the Strip. It's not fun when you know the game is stacked against you, even more than usual. And when gambling, the core of Vegas's identity, feels like a scam, people stop coming. But there's still one fee left, and it's the one that perfectly symbolizes why Vegas feels emptier than ever. It's not just about money. It's about betrayal. Number 1. The Vegas Premium. Death by 1,000 cuts. At the very top of this list is not a single charge, but a culture of fees that has transformed Las Vegas from a playground of generosity into a machine of extraction. Economists call it drip pricing. Tourists call it the Vegas Premium, and it's killing the city's soul. Here's how it works. You book a room at $99, but with resort fees, parking, and taxes, it's suddenly $180. You grab lunch for two, advertised as $40, but with concession charges and inflated tips, it's $60. You buy show tickets at $100 each. By checkout, they're $150 apiece. Even your blackjack winnings are smaller, thanks to rigged 6 to 5 payouts. At every stage, Vegas takes a little more than you expected, until the whole experience feels like death by 1,000 cuts. The numbers tell the story. According to a 2024 UNLV Hospitality School study, visitor satisfaction on the Strip has dropped 22% in 5 years, with hidden fees cited as the #1 complaint. And the consequences are showing up in the streets. Foot traffic on the Strip is down, mid-tier casinos report declining occupancy, and regional competitors, from tribal casinos in California to Gulf Coast destinations like Biloxi, are picking up disillusioned travelers. What makes this so damaging isn't just the money, it's the broken promise. Vegas used to be the one place where the little guy felt like a big shot. Free drinks, cheap meals, and transparent games created an illusion of generosity that kept people coming back. Now, tourists leave with a different memory. We got scammed. And when a city built entirely on reputation starts losing trust, emptiness follows. Empty tables, empty theaters, empty sidewalks where neon still burns bright, but the magic is gone. So yes, the single biggest fee-killing Las Vegas is the Vegas premium itself, the unspoken charge of being nickel and dimed at every turn. Until that changes, Sin City's biggest gamble isn't the roulette wheel, it's whether visitors will ever come back. Las Vegas didn't collapse overnight. It bled itself dry, one fee at a time. If you've been burned by these charges, drop your story in the comments. I want to hear it. And if you found this eye-opening, hit subscribe, because the next video might just reveal where everyone's going instead.